And welcome back to Politics Tonight. Continuing our discussion about Bruce Rauner's budget proposal, Republican State Representative Tom Morrison from Palatine joining me on the phone tonight with more. He's in Springfield. Representative, welcome back to Politics Tonight.
Hey, thanks, Paul.
All right, so you're a Republican, so therefore I imagine your overall response to the governor's address today was positive.
It was positive. I mean, if you listen to the applause, most of it was coming from our side of the aisle. But I got to say, a lot of what he proposed is stuff that I've been talking about for the last 4 to 5 years. I represent a district in northwest Cook County, and we've been long overdue to have an honest discussion about the budget with the citizens of the state. And I think what we got today was a very honest budget.
Tom, I get that. In fact, and even I've said on our WGN airs that, look, this is a governor who says we're gonna spend what we have. We only have $31 billion. We're not going to spend $37. I get all of that. Then you got to look at some of the specifics as you do. For example, he supports K through 12 education and early education, and you've got little kids, and that makes sense for you and all those parents. But higher education getting whacked already. Perhaps you've seen a memo issued by the president of University of Illinois. They're looking to get almost a 1/3 loss of their state funding, $209 million, which they say is a cut right at the basics of student classes and research. Is that really the answer then?
Well, I think here's where Illinois could learn from other states. I mean, our neighbor to the east has a former governor, now a president of Purdue University, who says it is imperative that we reduce costs, we get more efficient at the university level. He's doing that at Purdue. You know, maybe the Illinois schools can learn some lessons from Indiana. But here's the most important thing to think about. You know, a lot of the state universities have massive endowments. You know, over $2.5 billion of endowments. Maybe it's time to weather the storm, to tap into some of those resources.
So I'm not hearing much sympathy for you for institutions of higher education. Basically, in fact, it seems to be the message to a lot of entities is do more with less and figure something out. I mean, for example, the cuts on municipalities, the governor cutting in half the money that cities get back from the state revenue, which I can tell you right now, I've had many mayors say to me, it's not their money in the first place, it's our money. So that's getting cut in half, and basically the city of Chicago is going to have to figure out a way for its pension bill coming up to just take care of its own problems. Is that kind of what the governor's saying? You deal with your own problem?
Well, you know, he's also providing solutions that, you know, you can only say so much in a 20 or 30-minute speech, but an important component for what he's talking about is providing relief on a lot of the unfunded mandates that we put on universities, that we put on municipalities, that we put on other units of local government. I mean, that's going to be a key component to this. Whatever we can do as a state to reduce the costs and burden on municipalities and universities, all these entities I mentioned, it's going to make these changes easier to stomach.
And you talk about unfunded mandates, and that's probably legislative speak for a lot of citizens out there. What are we talking about? What do we mean when we talk about these unfunded mandates?
So, for example, the state might say to a local school district, you must buy the fuel for your buses be 5%. It must be a blend of 5% soy biodiesel. You know, well, maybe that's not the most efficient or cost-effective fuel purchase for that district. Maybe a school is about to do a project like replace a roof or put an addition on a building. The state would say you must hire contractors that pay what's called a prevailing wage, which would be the union rate, which means that there are very few bidders for these projects. And so, if there's only 2 or 3 contractors bidding for a project, that could make that project significantly more expensive, and that means you have fewer resources to put in the classroom or to hire teachers or to do other things.
We also heard cuts in Medicaid today. I have to say, I didn't hear the governor say anything about like selling off. We've heard about the selling off some of the state planes, but I kind of wondered what kind of pain the legislators might feel. Maybe is there something in the budget that cuts money from you and what you have to do?
Yeah, well, he said there's got to be shared sacrifice, and so we're talking about cuts of 10% to the General Assembly.
Okay. And any comment, have you seen in the budget anything about selling? I mean, I think we have 11 state planes so that everybody gets their own. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is there's all these, what look like perks to me that, you kind of go, really, who's suffering the pain here? Is that something you'd go for? Talk to the governor about saying, let's get rid of some of those planes?
Oh, yeah. I've co-sponsored legislation to get rid of the planes. I mean, and I'm in my own district office in Palatine. I've asked my staff to make cuts. Does something really have to be mailed out? Do we really have to spend money on that postage? Can we do with just one phone line instead of two? Do we really need a fax line anymore? Everything's being done by email. Those are the kind of conversations that have to be had throughout state government, throughout local government. We're not talking about our money. This is the taxpayers' money. And just like any family, like any business, you take a look at the money you have coming in and what is it that we must buy, or what must we spend money on, and what is more of a want or a wish. And this is a conversation that's long overdue, and I'm happy that we have a responsible governor in charge.
State Representative Tom Morrison from Palatine, I appreciate that and appreciate your perspective on it. We're going to see how all this unfolds. It's going to hurt, but we're going to see what happens. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with reaction, as you might guess, from the other side of the aisle after these words. Stay with us.